Hi, this is Dave Perry, and you're watching Retro Gaming Revival live.
Good evening. It is Tuesday. Tuesday is clearly the new Wednesday. So it is Tuesday night. It is 8 p.m. It is time for Retro Gaming Revival Live. We've got a really, really excellent guest that you'll be able to see there at the bottom, who we'll come to and introduce in just a moment. So we'll do our usual introductions of the panel. Again, I'm not as equipped as Ryan is with these quick sort of intros, so I'll just go straight round. So join us. We have Mr. All Elite Ryan.
Evening, hello.
Excellent, good T-shirt there. I can see there as well. Fantastic stuff. We have
that one behind me.
Yeah.
Not that garbage.
Shocking. We have Mr. Triangle Face Tim.
Hello.
We have Mr. Blunners, also sporting an excellent shirt. Look at that.
All right. All good.
We have Mr. Dorbs, Vanilla Dorbs,
Greetings.
and our guest of honour this evening, the creator of probably one of the most addictive games I've played, I reckon, in recent memory. We have Mr. Alastair Lowe. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yay.
Excellent stuff. We've got loads of stuff we want to talk to you about, so we're just going to get straight in with it. We've got a whole bunch of stuff that we will normally ask everyone that comes on to speak to us. So our first topic this evening is early gaming memories. What are some of your sort of early gaming memories? What really sort of got you into gaming, and that kind of thing, and maybe even like things like your first consoles, first systems, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, the earliest ones I can remember are an NES, a Master System, and a Amiga.
Yes.
Yeah. So that covers a few bases here, I think.
Yeah.
NES. Yeah, I remember going to the car boots and getting the NES with Rob in the box and whatever for £3.
Wow.
And like back in the day,
£3.
back in like, I don't know, 95 or something.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was really good. And then playing Mario 3 with my brother, and then it was so annoying on the 2-player mode where you would, like, if you overlapped each other on the map screen, or if you completed a level you'd already did, you get to the Mario battle scene, and it just, yeah, he would just beat me at that, and then I couldn't actually play the game, which was really bloody annoying. But then he wasn't that good at the levels either, so I don't know. I
Ends up
practiced
shooting
when he
yourself in
wasn't
the
there,
foot.
and then he didn't play much games after that. That and Alex Kidd as well. That was good. I've never came across a Master System with Sonic on it. Does that exist? Does any of you have that? Because
Do you know?
It's built in.
Never had.
One of my mates had it at school. Yeah, it's built in. He had that and Alex Kidd. Yeah.
Well,
both
Sonic was
built
built
in.
into a Master System.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've
really.
heard people say
Yeah.
that. I've never seen one, but
I'm sure it had both of them,
Apparently it
Sonic
exists.
and Alex Kidd.
no, it's one or the other, I think. But and then I suppose what was it? The playing Lemmings on the NES? No, on the Amiga. Yeah. Lemmings 2. I found out recently. That waiting for the discs to load. There was like 3 discs. You had to go like disc 1, 2, 3, and then back to 2 to actually play it, and it would take absolutely ages, but it was good fun.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
else
I
was I
think
going
Dorbs
to
always
do?
exactly. I think Dorbs always gets really excited as soon as people bring Amiga into the early gaming memory, because it's almost standard, isn't it, that everyone played an NES and a Master System. But yeah, as soon as an Amiga kicks in,
It's just crazy
always...
the amount of like games on it that I kind of know people that worked on them now, like like folk from DMA and that, and it's like, wow, you worked on this. That's really cool.
Yeah. Well, Ryan's
I
bringing
found
it up.
one.
With Sonic,
20
30 quid.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go.
Ah, pretty good.
Built in.
Okay.
Yeah, I told you. Built in.
Yeah.
Buy it now.
Best offer as well.
Well, should we make an offer? Should we make an offer online?
Do
online.
it live now, yeah.
Make an offer of
Live,
20
and then-
quid.
Then
Make
we
an offer
can
of 20
raffle
quid.
it
See what
away.
it says.
And
Then people
I'm
have
going to offer
found
22 and he'll give me it.
Yeah.
I found
Very
of people and
posted.
they're like, and when as soon as they put best offer on something, they never actually mean make me a good offer. They mean offer me 50p less than what it's up for it, buy it now, or I'm just going to reject it all the time.
Yeah.
That's generally how I seem to
what
have
I
found
find.
it recently.
Give
But,
you some false hope. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think what are some of the other systems that we've had people say recently that have sort of been not curveballs, but we've had sort of people bringing up things certain. There was a Spectrum that somebody mentioned the other day that I'm sure that it had some numbers before it that I've not heard of before.
But no, have you still got any of your like your Rob and all that you bought for 50p, whoever it was?
No, annoyingly,
You got any?
I got robbed of Rob.
No, are you kidding?
Yeah, I had all the consoles set up in the shed, and then one night I slept in because I think someone had woke me up, like rattle around in the shed, and then went down to the shed, and my dad was like, "Everything's been stolen."
Oh,
Oh,
that's
nice.
scumbags.
Absolutely crap. Yeah,
That's
so the
disgraceful.
Rob and that were all gone, but I did get a new one. I've got a new Rob now. So
Oh yeah, you can see him there. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Excellent.
I still get the Amiga. That's still there. I got that afterwards.
Which one was it? A 600?
Yeah.
Yeah, the best one.
Stubbs' favourite.
Yeah,
I had
definitely.
Commodores and stuff as well. I remember finding the tapes in charity shops, and there was one charity shop always had like so many tapes. Some of them just must have kept handing them in.
So a Commodore is something I never really, I didn't really get to play one as a kid at all. But there's something about it that kind of it draws me to it for some reason. There's just something about it that makes me think, I kind of fancy giving this a go and just sort of seeing what this was all about. And I kind of feel like getting the Mini would be a sort of a good way to kind of do it on I say maybe making sure it worked properly. But something feels like I'd be cheating myself out of the experience of loading that tape and sort of sitting there for half an hour and then have it crash.
And the
It kind of feels like that's
flashy
part of the.
Yeah.
It feels like that's
I've
part
just
of the
bought both of
Commodore
them again
experience.
recently as well, like the Mini and the real thing.
Yeah.
Still yet to
Did-
try
when they-
either of them, but
When they did the Mini, did they redo the Mini with like a working keyboard?
I think they actually did redo it. Yeah, I'm sure I've heard that. Yeah, they did one without the keyboard, and that's just weird.
Yeah.
Plastic.
That's
I think the
Doesn't do it.
Maxis
Yeah.
working keyboard one.
Yeah, it was like with the Amiga Mini that's coming out. The one that's coming out, the keyboard doesn't work, does it?
Mhm.
And I think that kind of beats
That
the
defeats
point
the
of having an
purpose.
Amiga. Yeah,
It should
you
just be
need
an
a
Amiga
work-
with loads of stuff loaded on it,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's not got a
Yeah.
huge amount of games on there, is it? It's only like 20 games it comes with, which isn't loads, is it? You'd think you'd have a few more than that.
Are they
Yeah, I
allowing
think
you to
you can
add
download
ROMs and
loads
stuff?
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can add games that you have in your collection. Just want to add that.
Yeah, there you go.
Those are other ones like in primary school, like we had a BBC Micro in the corner, and it
Yeah.
did well. We get to play games. The only one I can remember is the pod game, where you were like pod can dance, pod can do a whole load of other stuff. Yeah, and I'm not very good at spelling or whatever, and that didn't help. So it was
All I-
good of.
All I remember from
my
school
family-
and the BBC Micro is some sort of, I don't know if it was some sort of like adventure game or something. I vaguely remember there being something to do with your little character running around a pyramid, and then you'd get into certain areas and there would be, like you say, spelling challenges or puzzles to solve. And then, but for the life of me, you try and Google that and try and figure out what it is, and it's almost non-existent.
Yeah, that's hard,
So-
isn't it? 'Cause, my
Different
family had a
levels.
BBC Micro, and the problem is a lot of the games I just don't remember what they were called. So I'd love to look them up and check them and watch videos on them and stuff, but I can't remember what they're called. All I can remember is like vague bits of them, little details. Like I remember a game where you were basically going through like a maze, and if you touch the walls, you'd get injured because the walls were like electrified. And if you spent too long in a room, like a ghost would come and kill you, and you had to try and get out of the room quickly. And I have no idea what it was called. It was a great little game. But yeah, and there was another game we had, which was like the fighting level of Mario that you mentioned, like the actual original Mario Brothers, where you have the power block middle, is basically a complete rip off of that. But when you cleared the level, you then went onto a new screen and then another new screen. So it's almost like that Mario Brothers like clone, but then they'd gone off and done something else with it. But
Yeah.
no idea what it was called. So
I can
yeah, it'd be good if I
tell you
one day
that.
remember.
that first one you talked about, that sounded like the plot for the new James Wan horror movie, getting stuck in an electrified maze, and then a ghost comes and gets you. Like, we need to quickly write something on that, otherwise someone's going to steal that. I can feel it.
I think at our
Before?
school, the only game we had was Geordie Racer, the game. Did anyone watch that at school? That,
Yeah.
Was it Stop,
Geordie
Look and
Racer.
Listen, the series?
It was.
And then you had
Uh,
Geordie Racer.
We watched
Stop
Geordie Racer
looking
after
left.
we saw Through the Dragon's Eye. That was the first one we saw as kids. The look
Yeah,
and
and
read
Badger
thing in
Girl.
English.
Badger Girl. That was
Badger
another
Girl,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus,
Yeah.
that's going a deep dive, isn't it? Christ, I've not thought about Geordie Racer or Badger Girl for decades. Bloody hell.
I
Okay.
think the other ones I played at school. Sky Race? No, what was it called? Sky Runner or something? I can't remember. It was another one that, yeah, I finished everything before everybody else and got to go play the computer. So in primary 7.
We always had
good on
was it Lander on the Acorn? Was in our school, and it wasn't that good a game, but it was like one of the only games you had access to, so everyone would play it just because at the time that was like one of the only games we really had access to, so we all thought it was great. But in hindsight, it's probably a bit of a naff game, really. But it looked really cool at the time.
Yeah. Excellent. Right, so segueing on from early gaming memories and the sort of things you remember from that sort of got you into gaming there, do you have a favourite game and a favourite console? And they don't have to be for the same system. So if you have a favourite game but prefer another system, yeah, do you have any favourites?
Yeah, but they might just be the standard nonsense that everybody else says, though. NES and Mario.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nice.
I just
Nice.
played
It's
that
classic. It's
absolute
classic.
loads, yeah. But I don't know, so many other ones. I really like Celeste as a new one, and that has a nice callback to Mario 3 in it, which I got so excited when I seen it, like that that white block that you hold down on to go behind the level. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
these,
You know,
these little noob kids won't know what hit them here.
that game is something that I've been itching to play, but I've said on streams before, I'm always the physical media person. I love to have it physically rather than digitally, and I think Celeste might just have to be one that I bite the bullet on and just get it digitally until I can afford the physical.
Is there
it
a
just
physical?
looks so good.
The
It is,
strawberry
yeah.
stuff.
Limited Run did it, which of course means it's
Limited Run,
£1 million now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Game
like that's
limited. Yeah.
yeah. But no, that is one. But yeah, you just can't go wrong with Mario 3. I think it's one of those classic games that no matter how old you are, you can just instantly enjoy it. And the first time I ever got grounded in life was because I'd gone up this kid's house who lived in 2 roads across, which was further than I was meant to be able to go at the time. Because one of my other mates who lived around the corner was like, "Oh, so and so's got Mario 3," so we literally went around there. And my parents couldn't find me for hours, and it was yeah, because we were sat in some strange kid's room playing Super Mario 3.
Some strange kid.
I think I got Mario 3 Christmas. Or actually, you've got it now, Nintendo. I'll give you the cartridge, haven't I? I think I got that Christmas 1991, and I remember years later looking at the box. God knows what happened to the box, but it had a Virgin Media or Virgin Record Store sticker on it for like $49.99. I think 1991. That's like ridiculous.
Games are that expensive.
Yeah, I've got NES boxes that are 50 or 60 quid on them. Like
Wow.
Yeah.
Inflation wise, that's horrible, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. A few £100, isn't it?
It's very, and people do complain about games being expensive now. Like, I know they're trying to hit that £70 price point, aren't they? Now, that sweet spot for PS5 and Series X stuff. And people are like, "Oh, it's too expensive." You're like, "Yeah, I remember Rise of the Robots on Super Nintendo being 70 quid as well." It certainly
What
isn't
you
half
tend to
as
get
good as
now,
the
though,
stuff
isn't
you're
it? Is
getting
you
now.
get like most of a game and then DLC. So the base game will be like 40 or 50 quid, but then there'll be like another 20 to 30 quid's worth of DLC you need to get after that.
Yeah. Season passes.
I find it really weird. Like, I was in a game the other day, and like some games that are on PS4 and PS5 are cheaper pre-owned on PS5 because no one's got one. No one's buying the games. So.
That's absolutely madness, isn't it? And it's some of the games that you don't think would come to PS5 are coming to PS5 as well, but they're not sort of coming to PS4 either. And it's I don't know, they've really weirded this one up together. But yeah, I think it's strange, isn't it, to see a brand new game for a new system, but the second-hand version be cheaper for the newer system. It's
Is it time to buy them up now? I mean, it's still not cheap, but it's cheaper.
It is. Yeah, and when you walk
In
past
some cases.
CEX and see the prices of their actual PS5 systems, and it's just
criminal.
What, 3 or 4? No, but
Disgraceful.
700 or 800 quid for one. Yeah.
Yeah,
oh,
it's
yeah,
extravagant.
it's
Are they still impossible to get hold of, PS5s?
Yeah.
I think you need to set
Yeah.
yourself up with one of those like store or
Mad,
stock
isn't it?
tracker things where
Stock
they tell you
trackers, yeah.
they can tell you which shops are going to be getting their stock in at what time, and or
Or
just like
get lucky.
register.
My mate got one just on the Curry
Yeah.
site the other day.
Yeah.
They're a bit weird when he went to pick it up, but making sure he wasn't a scalper or whatever.
Yeah, I luckily got one launch from Amazon, and when the guy delivered it, I had to give him like a 10-digit PIN code, and he was like, "What? I've been delivering these all day. What are these things I'm delivering?" and then I told
more
him.
got delivered.
Yeah, then when I told him, I thought, should I have told him that? Because these are
come
such
rob you.
smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
I went and did it old school. I literally went down the morning that we could register. I went down to my local game and registered, pre-ordered that way.
Amazing.
It was yeah, that was kind of cool. So that was quite nice actually turning up, because it was during COVID as well, wasn't it? During the lockdown, and just literally walking into game with a face covering on, and they had like a little table in the door so you couldn't go in the store, and they just handed it over the top. And you're like, hey, this is nice.
That's mad. I can't do that anymore. I've done that at the original Xbox One.
Yeah.
The original Xbox back in the day, Blockbusters. So walk in, and it's we haven't got it. I was like, what do you mean you ain't got it?
Yeah.
I was like, what? They're like, no, it hasn't come in. And I'm like, are you serious? Like waiting on launch day. My brother worked there as well, and still didn't even have it. They didn't get any at all. So from then on, I've always ordered 2, pre-ordered 2, and I got 2 turn up on PS5. So they just turned up. And I was lucky, one from one shop and one from another, because I don't trust they're never going to turn up after that.
It's a good
So,
start.
To be fair, you could
And
get
you-
rid of
and you
it.
scalp one
Never
online,
use
yeah.
it anymore.
Pay for the other one.
Well, to be fair, I wish I'd scalp both of them, because I don't really use it as much as you think. Reddit,
I'm
like
not a
you
player,
go in,
yeah.
there's nothing on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I got an Xbox Series S about 9-10 months ago, and I use that more with Game Pass than PS5. There's just so much on there,
Game
and
Pass
it's
is
such
really,
better
really good.
value for money, I think, at the moment anyway. Hopefully PS5 will start bringing out some more titles, but stuff like FIFA, for example, is exactly the same as the PS4 version. I can't
There's no difference.
justify. Yeah, I can't see
There's no
any sort of
difference.
in advances in graphics at the moment, but serves
Same
me
game
right
every
for
year
rushing
anyway,
out
isn't
and buying it.
This stuff doesn't
Just-
really get a new generation console. I remember like when it was the jump from like the 360 to the Xbox One, and things like I think it was Black Flag. I had Black Flag on the 360, and then it came out. Later got the Xbox One version when it was on like Games with Gold, and there's not a huge difference really. And it's just
No.
it makes it hard to like really they should probably just rip it off like a band-aid and just do like the next gen exclusive and not have it on both. I think by keeping on them both, they try and keep keep it going on the old system. So it's like you're not actually convincing people to jump over to the new one.
Yeah,
I think
that was
it's
always the
quite
way, wasn't it?
like responsible of them to not do that while you can't get one.
Yeah,
Yeah, true. Actually,
yeah.
that's a fair point.
Because then the prices could skyrocket even more.
yeah.
But they're still saying
Yeah.
that they've sold more than they have of any other console in the time period. But I don't know,
How?
it seems like most of you have got one anyway. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Early
I'm never
Not
going to
taking
get that
plunge yet,
graphical jump. I don't think you're ever going to get that graphical jump you had from PlayStation 1 to PS2. Like,
Yeah.
that
have
jump.
you played
was huge.
that Matrix demo?
Yes.
Yeah.
I played that with my
Good
mates, and
grief.
like we're watching the starting bit with the video of him walking on, and I was like, "Holy shit, are we here now? Like, is this it?" And then it cut to another scene, and that was the CG stuff. It was actually filmed up until that point. I'm like, they lied to us. bastards."
Fooled you. Filth. But that was absolutely crazy. As soon as you could move forward, you're like, oh, okay, here we are. This is, and it's
Yeah, the city
it's-
looks absolutely amazing in there. Yeah, so cool.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that at some point in the next sort of 12 months, we're going to start seeing that graphical leap that we're kind of itching for. Because, the PS5, as much as I enjoy I do really enjoy it, I think at the moment it's more about frame rate, being able to actually run something in true 4K, faster load times, all that kind of stuff, which, the PC's been enjoying for many, many years now. So being able to do that on a system on a home console is pretty cool. But yeah, we need some Unreal 5 stuff kicking in now. That needs to be where we're heading.
No, we don't. We need more pixel art on the PS5.
Well, I think
as an artist, I'm like, I'm not interested in realism until we can properly do it. Like,
yeah,
and I don't think people are there yet in games. Like, we'll still look back and go, "Oh, it's still a bit funny."
yeah,
and then at that point, it might not be fun anyway. So I don't really care.
yeah. Cool. So we're going to segue nicely into our next topic for you, which is your career within the gaming industry. So, if you would be so kind, what is it that got you started in the games industry? What was sort of maybe your light bulb moment of I want to be in the games industry, and sort of what was it that got you there?
Well, I think at first I wanted to be in films, and I joined some like film groups and stuff, and started making stuff and wanted to make all the monsters and that, and then realized that it was really expensive. And yes, and then kind of led into like 3D stuff. But before that, I'd been like dabbling in games creation because I got like the Games Factory. It was like I think it was like Macro. No, it was one of the early game maker things. It was all kind of visual coding and that. I got it in a bargain bin in Toys R Us, which was great. And yeah, dipped my toe in there. That was like pixel art stuff.
Yep.
And yeah, like stuff like that. I Want to Be the Guy, I think, was made in it, or that kind of stuff. And then yeah, say went into the 3D stuff after the film stuff. Then went to uni, did computer arts, and well, actually no, I went to college then uni because I didn't get the hires I needed for to get into university. And I'm really dyslexic, so I was like, I'm not going to get English, and everywhere needs English. So yeah, I went to college and then in the uni. I did a kind of overlap year, so I didn't miss any time. And then got really lucky at the end of uni. Like, worked really hard, but then yeah, a job just came up like as I was leaving, and they were looking for a Blender artist, and I was like one of the only Blender artists that applied. So
excellent.
That was, I don't know, like 8 years ago or something. Then so got my first job as a 3D artist, and then spent the next 5 years doing 2D art because we quickly realized that the mobiles weren't good enough at the time to do 3D that we wanted to do. So that's about mine.
Right.
So we ended up like pre-rendering like zombies from top down, and then like stitched them all together in 2D. But then during lockdown, I got quite bored at the company I was at, so that's when I span off and started to do Lowtek. I had the prototype for Flea at that point. I think I'd just launched the Kickstarter, and I was like, yeah, I can do this. See you later, guys.
Amazing.
Oh,
I mean,
nice.
Yeah, that's quality.
You say luck. Sometimes it's a really difficult one. I'm not a big believer in like things happen for a reason and all this kind of thing. But so many instances happen in life sometimes where it just is right, and it clearly has worked in the best possible way for you. So you say lucky. Someone might say the universe was looking out for you, and that's really cool. And yeah, so you actually did some of the sort of the legwork at university and college as well to try and sort of get into that sort of industry, which is that's really interesting to hear, because that is exactly what sort of path my son is kind of on at the moment. He's at university. I don't know what the actual name for his course is, but he's using Unreal Engine 4. Is it what? Sorry.
In the art or the code side, or design?
I think he prefers the art side. I think he did a bit of coding in his college course, and appreciates that it is an art form in its own right. But I think he actually prefers designing things and making things how he sees them in his mind, and making the stories to go with it. So I think he was hoping the uni course might refine the direction he wants to kind of go in. But he seems to be getting a kick out of it, that's for sure. And he comes home and tells me about how to build a game in Unreal 4, and they're all buzzing about Unreal 5 after seeing all the stuff that's coming out for it. So yeah, that'd be really interesting, because that's the sort of path my son's sort of looking to go on. So that's really cool to hear that it does work.
Can I just before you speak, Triangle Face? Whenever you talk about a son in uni, Ollie, I look at you and think you're not old enough.
Yeah,
You're
as well,
young.
yeah.
You're like Peter Pan sat there.
Just
Benjamin Button.
Yeah, that's it.
Indeed.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
just got
Really
just
wondering.
bathe in the fountain of youth, mate. That's what it is. Or just start early. That's the other thing. That's the other one.
When I was at uni, I did multimedia technology, and we did have a game design module rather than like a full course feel. So there's some course, the entire course dedicated to it, but we were using a Game Maker, so that's like that visual coding. So you get like the logic building of it all, which now you can kind of see in things like I don't know, like Super Mario Maker. You know, you get to that point you can just like build games so easily on something like that now. But it's really fun to kind of be able to make something on there and start seeing how everything fits together. So actually having like a bit of coding knowledge is really helpful to then understand how game mechanics actually work and coming up with different game mechanics. I think that's kind of where, where really good ideas happen, isn't it? Just coming up, playing around with game mechanics.
Yeah, and seeing what the engine's capable of. That's where Flea came with. I was just following the tutorials of like the platformer and was like, what if I just make him always jump? That's
great.
Twist. And it worked. So
instantly, as soon as you start playing Flea, when I first started playing it, you get it straight away. That just bouncing thing is just such a good idea to have a hook, because as soon as you start playing the game, you're bouncing around and think, okay, I get this, and you instantly start enjoying the game. But there's not like a long tutorial have to explain everything. You start playing and you're a Flea bouncing up and down. And like, okay, I'm just gonna like bounce around and see what happens if I go over here. So it's a really good kind of game just to pick up and get started on.
I mean, my next segue topic was going to be talking about Lowtek Games. I kind of feel like we should segue to Flea because that's sorry, we're gonna keep with the order. Keep with the order. Here we go. So segueing on from university and getting your job as the oh my god, what was the title you used? Was it a color renderer?
It was a 3D artist. Yeah,
3D artist. And then you being able to start Lowtek Games. So how did you sort of go about sort of starting Lowtek Games?
Yeah, there was a few things. I'd had the idea of Lowtek Games for ages because my name's Lowe, and like I just liked that as a thing.
Yeah,
and then what happened? Say that Nest Maker came out, and I started making Flea in that. I had started to make Flea years before in Unity for mobile, and I released it, and it just kind of didn't do anything. It was really buggy, but yeah, when I was going through the tutorials of Nest Maker, I was like, what ideas could I bring back to this? And the Flea bouncy thing was good. I liked the reasons of Flea is because like fleas are tiny and so are pixels usually. That was and because frogs and rabbits have been like done already. Other things that jump. So I was still working at the other place, and I'd been wanting to do a Kickstarter for absolute ages. I'm like, this could be the one that does it. There'd been a few successful Nest Kickstarters, so I set it up. It did pretty good. I think it made its goal in like 2 days, and then like I don't know, doubled what I was expecting. So that was really cool. Then say lockdown. I don't know, the game we were working on it, the Ninja Kiwi at the time was just it'd been a really really long project, and I was just done. I'd been there for say I don't know 7 or 8 years. Like, so it was a big decision, but I was like, I'll quit. It's a good time to quit during a global pandemic, isn't it? I was like, well, I won't be able to go out and like be spending money at restaurants and stuff, so it might be a good time to like do something that might hemorrhage money normally.
So when you came up
with set up the company, and that's kind of it. Oh, we're also focusing on. I'd got a grant to do a dyslexia plugin for Unity that adds text to speech easily, so that other developers can add that to their games as well.
That's really
not
cool.
many people have used it yet, but I think it's a big potential, and there's going to be a big movement at some point. But we just need a big game to use it.
Yeah, that is incredible though. And is that something you're sort of working on as well? Something you're sort of trying to create and.
Yeah, like because no one else is doing it. Like I've seen lots of people. Like our company says, like dyslexia friendly games, and it took me a while to like get around to the Nest stuff also fitting into that, but I think it does as well. But yeah, I kind of want to be the advocate for it because no one else is really talking about dyslexia. Like they're talking about color blindness or visual impaired or like motor skills or whatever, but that's not the disability I bit like have. So,
I'm dyslexic as well, but mine's with like
You too.
mine's not with reading, but mine's like spelling as well. But like mine's like I know that it's spelt wrong, but I don't know how to spell it, and I don't know how to fix it. So then what I end up doing is just rewording the whole thing. all the time, and it's I've dealt with that my whole life, and it's just like you said, no one ever talks about it, but 100%.
And in games, like I can't read, like I really can't read like passages of text or whatever, like any Final Fantasy or that. I just could not make it through. Even the big ones, the Final Fantasy VII, the first boss fight, the one with the scorpion with the tail, and it says attack when the tail's up. I died on that boss like, I don't know, 20 times, and then years later my friend was like, oh yeah, it says just attack when it's up, and then that's it. So yeah, I just never made it past. I wouldn't have made it through the rest of the game anyway, but yeah, stuff like that. And I don't know, like some of my favorite games are Zelda and whatever, and they've never did a like fully voiced game, and I think it's just really lazy of them. And I'm falling out.
I always find that if I'm reading something, it's not so bad with like reading in games and stuff for me, but if I'm proofreading something, like never ask me to proofread anything, because what I tend to do is I'll read it as it's intended, because my brain will kind of figure out what it's meant to say, and I'll just assume that it's right. So if somebody's written something that's full of spelling mistakes, I just won't notice. I'll just read it. I'll be like, oh, there's. So if I write something myself, I would have to get someone to proofread it, because I just won't notice anything wrong with it if there's like grammar or spelling mistake. Because as I read it back to myself, it's like, yeah, it looks fine to me. I know what it says.
Like, so many tweets have gone out, and then I've either realised that afterwards, or people have pointed it out. Like, as long as it's not like a bad thing I've said, like
Thing is, you don't get away with it on the internet, do you? You put something on Facebook that's got like a typo or a spelling mistake, and people will come at you in the comments. So,
well, I'm a dyslexia advocate, so I'm like, fuck you.
No,
not my fault. I can't help it.
That's a really unique thing. I'd be really interested to kind of stay in touch with you actually, and just see how that development sort of comes along, and certainly be. Yeah, anything that we can share with people to talk about it, I'd love to do that. That's a really, really cool thing that I've never heard before, and it almost sounds so simple when you say it out loud, doesn't it? Like, why can't we do this? It's like, why can't we do this? This is a great idea.
The Last of Us Part 2 did a really cool job with it. Like the first thing that they said was, "Do you want text to speech turned on?" And it was just bloody amazing. It was absolutely brilliant. So it meant that every option past that point was read to you. Like whether it was a small thing or a big thing, so it was really good. And then the new Assassin's Creed Valhalla, like audibly asked you, "Do you want this turned on or not?" And I'm like, wow, like these big studios are doing this. The little guys are going to catch up, and hopefully my thing will help them along with it.
That's
but on the NES games, like tying into the dyslexia thing, I think it's because back in the NES days they didn't have that much room for text. Like I didn't play those games; it was all about the gameplay. And then like. I was never really that much of a fan of the SNES, because I think like Zelda, again, one of my favorite games, there was way too much text to it because they had so much more memory. And then that's Ocarina of Time and that as well. But I don't know, just skip red text, right down the red text where you have to go or whatever. But or get them.
That's how Dorbs plays his games, doesn't he? He just
skip. Yeah, I ain't got time to that. Just skip that.
Yeah. My mates were shouting at me for turning off the animations in Pokemon. I was like, well, they just take ages, and they're the same every time. I don't care.
Yeah, they do take forever, don't they?
Right. So moving on to our next topic, it actually covers a question that Crazy Burger has chucked into the comments, so this is a nice segue as well. So that is upcoming releases, and I think Crazy Burger's comment was, what games are you working on at the moment? So this kind of ties it all quite nicely in together with that. So is there anything you can tell us about things that you've got sort of coming out imminently, or things that you're sort of working on as well?
Well, imminently, Tapeworms just came out like to purchase on general sale. It was just Kickstarter backers before, but it's now on NES and Dreamcast.
Do you have
blue NES card?
Do you have a box there to show?
I've got the box. I know this one doesn't have the game in it. But,
have a look at the box art quality.
Just put you on solo.
That's like door.
That's quality. Yeah, that's amazing.
That is really awesome.
That's amazing.
That's the blue card.
Yeah, and they were all like limited as well, limited numbers. Yeah, that was the special. I do have one of them kicking about.
Mate, how are we not on the?
And you got the cassette version. So the cassette, I saw this cassette one you had in your Kickstarter. It's got like a USB. So was it just a cassette? It was actually you fold it out and it's like a USB stick you then get the game on. Yeah,
Quality.
that's really cool.
Oh, I love it.
That's cool. Yeah, so it is just a USB stick, but it's
Oh, quality. That's amazing.
That is really good.
And then it's a USB stick.
Oh yeah.
That
Cool.
that is
There's only
really
a
good.
handful of these ones made because the
Shit, man,
the
that's
import
good.
charges from America were way too big.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a place in the UK does them, but when I run out of those ones, I'll do another one.
That's amazing.
Really cool one. But I don't know what I did with it.
That's so good.
And then still get the nice ones for sale.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then there's a new version of Flea coming out soon. It's the same game. It's had a couple of updates. There's been a couple bugs fixed and stuff by Wave Games, the guys who did Intrepidity and stuff. That's they're doing their own version. It's like a blue version as well.
Where can we get hold of them? Is it? You said there's the second
on my website. Yeah, Lowtek Games, and then Wave Games Studios. I can't remember what they're actually called, but Google them as well. They'll come up. I think that's a February thing. I think it's coming out on the 222 on Tuesday.
2022.
Yeah. Oh, that was the other thing for Flea. Like I'd been wanting to do the Kickstarter for absolutely ages, a Kickstarter. And I set myself a goal based on a pun. That it was I did it on the leap day.
Okay.
It's like it's about jumping. Makes sense.
I've never got as far as actually getting a Kickstarter done, but I do have a game that I want to put on Kickstarter at some point. It's not a computer game; it's a card game. I think eventually I want to get my I've got a deck building game I worked on for years, and then pandemic hit and other things have come up, and I've not done it. But I'm really close to finishing it, so I do hope to actually do a Kickstarter.
I think you should do.
Hit me up if you need some
Triangle Faces Chicken Fowl Challenge.
Chicken Fowl Challenge.
Challenge.
You should do.
What?
After having that bit of foul, you were hiccuping.
Instant hiccup.
Oh right. All right. Where does that come from? No, that makes sense. Yeah. No, we don't need to cover that.
And what else? The next game that's coming, not a physical one, or I might do a physical at some point. Playhead. I don't know if you've seen that. It's a puzzle platformer game for PC. Hopefully Switch and Steam Deck and whatever as well, or just anywhere that'll take it. But it's based inside a YouTube media player, and you control time by moving the slider back and forth. So the level kind of animates around you, and stuff falls and whatever, and you kind of jump around it as manipulating time.
Cool.
It's got some cool puzzle possibilities because of it. Like there's one where there's like a box and it kind of moves around the screen, and like the exit is in that box, but wherever it goes you can't get inside it. But if you position your guy kind of here and then just jump the time to there, then you're inside the box. There's
giving out
puzzles
tips
like that.
That's exclusive.
What is the actual process like then from when you've got your game finished to actually then getting it put onto cartridges and all that sort of thing? What's the actual process like that? Like what kind of things you have to go through to get your product from your code to actually a physical product?
Well, some clever people made some nice flash cards, and we've got the Infinite Nest Lives board flasher thing. So just USB, and you just run some code that flashes it to these Mapper 30 boards, which are like homebrew new standards that let you do some cool stuff. And then for me actually to get it to the manufacturer, whatever, during the Kickstarter, I was going to just do it all myself. Source all the bits and bring them in. But then what I learned from other people that did Kickstarters was you usually hear from people during the Kickstarters that could make the thing better than you could. So Brook Studio, there was a couple guys. There was Frank over in America. He could do the boxes but not the other stuff, and he wouldn't do the whole thing. But Brook Studio were like, we could do it all and at a good price. So did that, and we already knew their quality and stuff was pretty good. So they're the guys who ship Micromages. They've not produced Micromages, but they're also, they used to be like the distributor and like manufacturer of Europe for NES games, but they seem to have, since they're doing it all, there's been so many Kickstarters went to them recently. I think mine was maybe one of the first ones to kind of shout about it. So I've been well positioned on the curve of like on the wave of retro gaming coming back.
So I think Kickstarter's been such a good thing to come in because it's given so many passion projects for people a chance to actually see the light of day and get made, and like especially like things like this and also board games, things like I follow a lot of board game Kickstarters. Actually, now if I want to get a new board game, Kickstarter's the best place to look because you're going to get on the ground up some new project coming out, and loads of really good stuff comes out of it. So it's a really good platform.
I've got a board game, like basically it's been done for years. Can I put it in the chat or not? I don't know. No, it's Peaks. It's called Peaks.
Peaks.
Peaksgame.com is the thing. Whoever's got the thing, I'll go get one. Why not?
Peaks.com. Fire that up, Ryan. Where are we at?
Peaks.com.
Believe so.
Peaksgame.com.
If I spell it right.
Is it PEE or PEA?
Yeah.
PEA.
Peaks.
PA.
Peaks Prototype Edition.
Peaksgame.com.
Welcome to Peaks board game site. Yeah.
Oh, I've put in Peaks.com. It's got a coffee cup asking for money.
Yeah, it's just kind of like an abstract strategy game where you have to like beat the other player to do anything. It's like a kind of dumbed down Mastermind, but with a bit of more random stuff.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember the Mastermind with the four.
The colour.
Yeah, and the colours. Yeah, I remember that.
We all remember the cover of that game. Don't move the creepy lady on the front. That was Mastermind, wasn't it? The game. Yeah.
But yeah, so that might come out at some point soon as well this year. I got a quote from a manufacturer in China just at the start of this year. So
excellent.
We'll see. We might do the same thing as we did with the Flea, where run the Kickstarter and then someone else says we can do it better and cheaper. So
Excellent.
So did you was that sort of when were people just literally approaching you during the process then and saying, this is something that I can do, as this is my job and I can do this kind of thing? Is that literally as simple as that? People were just like coming to you. I talked to some people that had made board games and put them on Kickstarter before, and they said that happens. Like someone comes to you, they're like, we've got a factory, we can make your game for this amount, and there's so many companies will do that during a Kickstarter that you kind of just get to pick what one you actually want to work with, or what has a bit better track record or whatever. Wow.
It's something you didn't think about it until it actually happened. Yeah, it's quite cool.
It's fascinating.
Yeah. It's one of the most interesting artwork jobs I've done.
For me.
Yeah. That's amazing.
That's awesome.
Quality.
But just hearing about that process, because you always sort of hear, I got it. It started on Kickstarter, then it got made, and here it is. But to actually hear, I guess another insight to the process of like, because in the back of my mind, all this week, we've been chatting about things that we would most like to talk to you about, and it's actually the process of getting the game to cartridge has been one of those things that we're kind of like, wonder what happens.
Yeah, how do you do that?
Yeah, and it's so interesting just to kind of hear that actually companies kind of approach you to sort of offer their services. You haven't kind of got to go out into the the world and try and find somebody.
It depends on what you're doing. If I was, I don't know, a year earlier, I don't think Brock Studio would have been ready to do it. I think I just again was lucky with the timing of it.
I reckon you should do a RGR game. Vanilla Daubs.
Or we could have a boy band, our own boy band.
Or if you watch our 12 Days of Christmas, I can't remember what episode there is, but there's some very good game ideas in there, including
very good.
A game based on the song Last Christmas, which is very good. Someone will steal that one.
Yeah, E4.
I need to go back and you should do a game jam around it. A retro gaming revival game jam.
But the increase in games that you've seen sort of over the last sort of few years, where people kind of take that retro-inspired idea of making a game and but put it into like a modern context. It's almost a genre in its own right now. I don't know. You were saying earlier about Flea was small, less pixels, and it might make things sort of easier to develop and stuff. But it's almost become a thing in its own right. Two of my favorite games of the last sort of couple of years have been Blazing Chrome, which is basically Contra meets Probotector. You just run and gun from left to side. And it could easily have been on Super Nintendo or Mega Drive. And I'm literally on the last boss for a game called Hunt Down at the moment, which again is a very similar thing, left to right, sort of run and gun thing, but it's sort of very Blade Runner inspired. And again, you could see that one being on a Super Nintendo. And it's great to see these sorts of games being made in a sort of for modern systems and stuff, because it is that style of game is something that I hark back to and remember really, really fondly. So it's always great to see that it's actually not disappeared or sort of gone anywhere really.
Mega Man 9 and 10 came out, I was like, wow. Where they went back to the old style. I don't think I'd played a Mega Man game before that, so that was my kind of first exposure to that.
I got the Amiibo. Mate, I had to get the Amiibo imported from America for that one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Someone's too much fun.
Lucky my brother lives there, so I'll make him buy it.
One good source of games I mentioned before is the Fuse for Switch, because you can code your own games on that. But also people will just put their game codes online, and you can just download people's games. So once you've got the platform on the Switch, you can just download other people's games. And I did make one game on. I started doing the tutorials. I was like, oh, this is really cool. I made my first game. It was just a basic rock paper scissors game, which is coding of like learning how arrays and variables worked in it. I was like, cool, I've made a rock paper scissors game. Haven't touched it since. I need to go back and like, right, I'm actually going to try and make a decent game on there.
Tim, you made that really cool game that you share. I think you made it at uni and you shared it on your YouTube channel.
Yeah, Puck, that was called.
Puck.
Yeah,
that was. Can I share it now?
Sure. Yeah.
I just
I tried to draw most of it myself, but it's just like basic shapes and circles really, because I've never really been much of a not much of an artist when it comes to that sort of thing. But
I used to love like games that let you create your own games. But then being a developer, I'm like, but I'm doing the game developer's work now. Like I'm doing the company's work and not getting paid for it. It's a good balance. Dreams, I really absolutely loved the idea of Dreams, and they talked about being able to like sell your stuff on the store and whatever. But
what was that one?
Got removed.
There was one. I can't remember what platform it was on. I think I had it on Xbox One. It was Project Spark. And you can make games in there, but a lot of it was done for you. It almost did too much for you. But I think there's a bit of an uptake in that. But then you've got things like Super Mario Maker. I find really fun because it is just like make Mario game. That's really cool. I like that. But then you get something like Fuse for Switch, and it's just like you just need to code and make a game from scratch, sort of thing.
There was Fuse and Garage as well.
The Game Maker Garage one. Yeah. So I mean that would probably be.
I played with the Labo stuff a little bit. Like again, a couple of nights, I was like, okay, I made something cool, and then stop because you can't really do anything with it.
Yeah.
I was trying to think the other night. At what point was it when the sort of in-game boom kind of happened? And I was trying to think whether or not it was like, was there anything sort of really pre-Minecraft where sort of indie developers were kind of taken like really seriously? Because around that sort of time when we had like Minecraft and Fez and that kind of thing, that for me, I think was two games where I genuinely was like, oh wow, these games are really being talked about by a lot of people, and like really big press were saying how wonderful these games were, and then sort of from there, that's for
Or before that, Alien Hominid on PS2 and Xbox and GameCube and whatever.
Okay.
From being a Flash game coming to console, I think that was one of the first ones that.
Oh, that's good.
That's quality.
Game, get this put on the old NES cart.
Yeah.
It's probably full of like bugs and stuff. So unfortunately, I did lose. I lost.
That's quality. Really good.
What's happening now?
My uni computer died, so I lost a lot of the original files and stuff. So I've just got the executable to actually have the game.
That's amazing.
Good. It looks good.
So good.
Look at that.
Can't believe it.
Yeah, apparently Game Maker is now made in the same town I'm in, Dundee. I think they
Oh, is
bought
it?
the code. But, yeah, Game Maker Studio 2 is made in Dundee.
Yeah,
That's
I wanted to look at Game
amazing.
Maker. You know, the funny thing with that was I made Puck. I was like, I just love power ups in platform games. So I was like, I'm just going to bombard it with power ups. I have loads of different types of power ups. And I did it's a fairly basic platform game with loads of power ups. And I'd never played the Kirby games because I didn't have a SNES growing up. I had a Mega Drive, and then I played Kirby. I was like, this is just. I've just made a Kirby game. Just like I was gutted because I didn't realise how much it was like Kirby.
Didn't
So
realise.
I accidentally ripped off Kirby, I think, a little bit there. But
Accidentally.
I honestly never played the
Accident-
Kirby games
yeah,
before.
honest.
Yeah,
Is
never
that why
played
he's
them
your
before.
Smash Brothers character as well? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've only played them in Smash. I have played the Kirby games now, but I hadn't played them back when I was making the game. And then as soon as I started playing Kirby on like emulator or something, I was like, oh wow, this is really like.
Yeah.
Oh, we need to get.
Never
We
mind.
need to get Puck on the Evercade, mate.
Yeah, I don't know. if he's
I
given
think
that,
we need to get it as a hidden game on the
but
EvercadeVS.
hidden game, yeah.
I think we need to
Built in.
we need to do it. We're going to
Get a
start a
campaign
petition.
going. Yeah.
Yep. On the Evercade
Start
fans group and on our Facebook page, Retro Gamer Revival, and on this YouTube channel, I'm going to start a petition to get. Is it Puck?
Puck, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Added
quality.
as
Yeah.
Hang on,
yeah,
gotta
Puck
check if that's not
added
been,
as an
used.
EvercadeVS hidden game.
Okay.
Yeah, get it on
There we
get it
go.
on the PlayStation Store or something, PS Store.
Well, in that, the mentioning there that you've just said
people.
there, Mr. Ryan, that's going to gently segue us into our next topic, which is in fact the Evercade. So while we've been talking about retro-inspired products, retro-inspired games, that is of course going to lead us to the Evercade. And I guess with this one, it would just be how did your sort of contact with the people at Blaze and Evercade kind of come about, and is there how did that sort of come around to sort of get it on a cartridge with them?
Yeah, how did it come about? They did a really good job with the marketing. Yeah, there were so many people, like YouTubers, talking about it, like just before it came out. So we all got excited. I've got Evercade here, but it's not got a game in it. Like I made a custom skin of.
Can I just pop you on solo again so we can use it?
I mean, it's just paper.
That's
that I
amazing.
stuck on,
Yeah.
but
Tapeworm on it. Yeah.
yeah, tapeworm and Flea on.
And
that's
Flea on
the mirror
that
thing's
side,
so
yeah.
weird.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That
I
is
don't
awesome.
know, whether they'd be annoyed if I'd like sold these or whatever.
Yeah.
Sticker. Well, I'll need to talk to them about it. But, I think they said it might be okay as long as I don't use their branding. But yeah, so they were doing all the really cool marketing stuff. So I was like, I've got an S game that this could potentially be on there. So I sent them an email, and then they got back to me saying that a few other people had messaged them, and then we kind of like formed a Discord chat, and it was just kind of like that. I think we were just kind of recommending people, and just kind of all came together like that.
So is that kind of how the Indie Heroes? Is that kind of how the Indie Heroes cart was born? A bunch of people kind of getting in touch and saying, "Oh, my game might suit your system," and then you're all in a Discord chat together, and you kind of build the Indie Heroes collection.
That was kind of it, yeah.
Dude,
That is quality.
It's amazing.
Did anyone's game not make the cut?
I don't think so. There was a couple like questionable mentions. I was like, I don't want to be in the same cartridge as that, but
Okay.
but that they just didn't get brought
So,
up more. They did
Triangle
get other
Face,
games from the cartridge. So that's fine.
Were you part of those discussions, Triangle Face?
Dropped immediately.
Yeah.
He will be.
You missed out. You missed out.
We'll get him in the next ones.
Yeah.
But that's
100%.
That's
quality, isn't it?
That is
Amazing.
yeah,
That's
it is.
so
It's
cool.
really awesome because it's you always hear these sort of buzzwords and buzz phrases of it's a really organic process, but that just sounds like the very definition of the most organic process possible. A bunch of people getting together and kind of saying, my game might fit your system, and all of you coming together, and then it kind of building a cartridge out of it, building a collection of games out of it. It's just the most community thing I think I've heard all day. It's wonderful. All about that sort of thing.
It was really good. We still chat and stuff. We're talking about all the other stuff. We get excited whenever we see a review or whatever. We all post stuff about it. Good. I sent the Retro Gamer magazine that did a really good write-up of the thing. I'd sent a few of them like around the world down to other developers.
Oh, amazing.
So yeah, the community's quite nice around it. Yeah.
I'm not just saying it because you're here, and I think the other people on the panel with me will agree. This is what Evercade should be targeting, games like this, because
Yeah,
these
100%.
are
It's the ones I like. It's the ones that I've never
Yeah.
played before. It's like new retro games. Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
And I think once I
Yeah.
got the Indie Heroes cart, it stayed on my Evercade for ages. I don't think I played any of my other carts. I just stuck with that for a long time, and I don't think with any of the other cartridges I've like systematically played every game. Whereas with Indie Heroes, I was like, right, I'm actually going to sit and play this game for a while and dedicate some time to it. And I've played everything on that cartridge. Yeah, with all the other ones, it's like, you know, you kind of dip in and out and dabble a little bit. But as soon as I started playing Indie Heroes, I think it was Flea and Quest Arrest probably the games I played the most on that. And then Deadus as well. I really enjoyed that. So yeah, it's a really good cartridge.
It's
I
a
think
cartridge.
like
I
the new retro games might be like more focused towards like newer gamers. I think as well. Like so that they're not the kind of like continue fests of back in the day.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of like new design theories in some of these games. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like because Flea back in the day, like that blood mechanic would not have been like that. That would have just been you get 3 lives and you die or something.
Yeah.
You can pick up a life every now and again.
So that blood mechanic is really good. It's a simple idea, but actually, I don't know if any other game that does that, where you collect your lives, but then you've got to exchange them to actually get.
Have to bank them later, yeah.
Yeah, it's such a clever little idea. It just adds that little twist to it, doesn't it? That kind of
and in the demo and stuff, that wasn't there. Like I was making you collect blood because it was like you're a flea, you have to collect blood, and it was going to be like the way to get past certain like NPCs and stuff. But then I was like, nah. Again, stuff based on a gag. I like the idea of the big fat flea getting stuck in a pipe. Like, oh, you could see him every now and again, and he could, he would have been going around collecting all this blood for the refugee fleas, but he's got too fat, so he can't do it anymore. So you have to do it. That was, and yeah, it just kind of came with that. And there was like, oh, should I do some like kind of transfer ratio of like 5 blood to 1 life or something? But after playing it, I was like, no, it's really hard. To give you the lives is probably okay. I think it's quite fair in the amount of lives you can get. But I just get so frustrated when people try to get them all. I was like, if you lose more than 5 lives on one level, it's not worth going to get the blood.
Yeah.
It's like that in all games, actually. I always when I was a kid, I used to try and get everything. So if I was playing like Sonic or Mario, I'd have to try and get as many coins as I can and that sort of thing. I think now when I play games, I think actually if I'm going to go out of my way to get an extra life, but there's a good chance I'm going to die trying to get it, I'm probably just better off ignoring it and carrying on. So I tend to do that a lot less now.
Yeah, I think games are more forgiving now on that kind of thing as well. So they might give you more lives or whatever.
It's got to be worth the risk, I think, isn't it?
But no, and then tapeworm as well. I was you were talking about like not realizing you'd ripped off another game. I did not know like oils well or anteater was a thing before making tapeworm. They're very similar, but like it's got its own twist. I was just thinking, snake and Lolo mixed together.
There's a really good game that I used to play on the Acorn computer. I've never been able to find like another version of it, which was I think it's called Serpents. So you'd have like a snake that was made up of so many segments, and if you came across another snake that was smaller than you would eat it and grow a segment. But if you came across a snake that was bigger than you, it would eat you. It's a bit like how Shark works in television, but with snakes. And it's a bit like Pac-Man. So some levels would be like a maze, and some would have a bit more of an open area where you could like wiggle around in this space. But I've not seen that on any other.
That's like the beginning of IO games.
Yeah,
you see those like the ones with the big circles just eating each other, and there's a snake one as well, I think.
Yeah, I'd love to see that on something like the Evercade. I think that would work pretty well on there, but I've just never seen it re-released or redone. I don't even know who made it. It's just one of those games I used to play years and years ago on the Acorn. I don't think it's ever been released on anything else.
No, but no, I completely agree with Ryan saying that is the Indie Heroes cart is up there, if not the best cartridge on the Evercade, including the arcade ones, and that is absolutely something they need to look at and sort of almost tap into this market of game developers and game designers and just really go for it, because especially while they're sort of really going for the physical media element of the collections and stuff, it's just absolutely a perfect system for this kind of thing. So yeah, I got mine as a Secret Santa present from someone who was very generous, and it
Santa.
yeah turned out to be a.
Who could that
You're
be?
welcome, mate. You're welcome. It's all right.
Yeah.
I wonder, mate.
Why didn't you show Ali the other Secret Santa present you got alongside Indie Heroes? Because that wasn't the best present, was it? I think you need to.
Ooh, I mean, will we ever see this bad boy on a?
Get on
don't see-
Evercade.
You don't.
On a
You don't
collection.
see this in the wild very often.
I mean, this
Get
is
this on
this,
Evercade.
Oh, you're
This is-
frozen.
No,
It's
God.
frozen.
let me know
Very
when I'm
frozen.
frozen. Let me know when I'm
Yeah,
unfrozen.
You're not frozen.
Yeah, you're on
Alright.
Frozen.
Here we go.
Classic.
I saw this in the intro.
Russell, a bit of Russell Grant's astrology.
Classic.
It's going to tell me how I can actually end up reading people's horoscopes and everything. It's gonna. I mean, it exists and I own it, and it's going to be an absolute riot getting to actually. Yeah.
Come on, if that's been made, we've got to get Puck made, haven't we?
Yeah.
Got to get Puck made.
Oh, we have to. That is my year's ambition. Don't care about anything else.
It would need
I
to be
want-
started from scratch, I think, because it's.
No, it's
it
good.
would
It's
need to be
fine.
Remade, I think.
Nothing wrong with it. It looks
Yeah.
good as it is.
The concept's good, Tim. It's a good idea.
Yeah, I think
While
it's great.
just while we're still on Evercade, before we sort of slide onto the next topic, which I am itching to talk about, Mr. Crazy Burger has put another question, which is relevant to sort of where we're at the minute. So, other than Flea, of course, what are some of your favourite Evercade games, if you have any?
Favorite game on Evercade. Probably something on Mega Cats. I might say Little Medusa. Because again, that was another NES game that I had not seen anything before, really. And then I seen they had a really cool cartridge, but it was quite expensive and sold out. So then, yeah, to be able to get it on Evercade, which was just really cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it was the Mega Cats collection that was like, I've got a chance at getting on this cartridge. The fact that they're doing like new indie stuff,
Yeah.
like new homebrew stuff, and they just seemed quite nice. Actually got back to me, which was nice.
Excellent. Yes. People replying is always a good thing. It's one of the few things that we're sort of quite shocked at with people when they go, "Oh yeah, we'll come on your show and chat." And, and our very
like massive folk on this show.
it's mad. It's like our little tiny slice of the internet, and people are like, "Yeah, I'll come talk to you." Really?
It's even like you giving us your time this evening. It's
Yeah.
like amazing.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, we
So
just
good.
can't believe people actually want to sit and talk to us. So yeah, it's great.
Get the games out there. That's...
I'm just worried if I'm going to move up, I'm going to like kill myself because there's like some sort of needles up there. So
Oh, that's another thing. The people like that haven't read the manual of it don't know what those are.
Amazing. They find out pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're deaf, but like
They kill you. Yeah.
people are like, are they daggers? Are they syringes? Are they knives? Are they... but no, they're thumbtacks.
of course
There
they
isn't-
are. Yeah.
Yeah. It's supposed to be
I
that
see
the
it
dogs
now.
just rolled over them or whatever, and they just kind
Yeah.
of became part of them as the time's gone on. There's
You
two
can
of
see
them
it,
together because only putting one as a spike, the collisions didn't look right. So that's
Yeah.
Okay.
This just segues us perfectly onto the topic that we've kind of sort of dipped in and out of a little bit all across the show so far, and that is Flea, the sort of panel's thoughts and sort of anything else that we can sort of discuss with it, really. So let's kind of go round. So, Mr. Ryan, Flea, thoughts?
Yeah, really enjoy it. I think the music's brilliant on it. The gameplay itself is really easy, pick up and play. Frustrating at times, but then it's supposed to be. And I'm not brilliant at games anyway. I was actually playing. My 7-year-old daughter was watching me play it earlier, and she was like glued to me. She's like, "How was it bouncing? How are you moving it?" But no, it's just the nice little touches. Today I saw they had the little Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle masks on.
They're the
yeah.
freedom fighters, yeah.
No, it's a really great game, and it really suits that like NES era of games. If I'd got that game on the NES, how old was I when I got a NES? 7, 8 years old. 7, 8 year old me would have really liked that game as my daughter. Obviously, she's looked at that and thought, wow, that's a really cool game. And she's got like a Nintendo Switch, but she was like mesmerized by it today. So
kids at events and stuff absolutely love it. Like it's really weird. People that are like, oh, they don't focus on anything, and then they're like playing my game for ages at my booth, and I'm like, go away. Like, buy the game, play it at home.
And
Mr. Tim, seeing people enjoy that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've said all of it already, but I'll recap. But yeah, I think it's the game mechanics really make it. Like we talk about the collecting the blood and trading in, the constant bouncing, and I think the fact that you don't need to figure anything out to start enjoying it. Like you boot the game up and you're playing it. I think that's why like you get sucked into it so easily, and the next thing you know, you've been playing it for ages because you don't have to spend any time figuring out what you're supposed to do. Like, okay, I'm supposed to get from out the screen and collect blood as I go, and then you're off. And I think that's probably the most appealing thing about the game. You just start playing it and you're there. I've just really enjoyed playing through it. It does get really hard, but again, you get loads of lives. So I think, like I say, the amount of lives you get given are fair for how hard the game is in some places. And I have got to the end, but only through abusing save states. I think towards the end. I was like, the boss fight bits are really cool as well, where it's like moving. Yeah, it's a really really fun game.
I was really excited the day I figured out that I could have like the single screen and the scrolling levels. That was a good day. It's something to break up the single screen stuff.
Yeah, I actually did a scrolling level in Puck Puck because I had one where I was like, okay, he was like a wheel, and then there's a snake chasing after you, and you just got like jump and bounce over things to get through. So yeah, I did a similar thing.
But no, I think
things break up.
It's really good. The mechanics grab you straight away. But I was saying, after seeing that you're going to release an updated version, I want to try and get a new physical version, or at least something like that. Tape one you've got there is pretty special as well. But I know you're not doing them anymore. But cool, I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, well, that one's for tapeworm specifically.
Quality tapeworm, yeah.
Yeah. So, Mr. Blunners, it's definitely a game that you have enjoyed.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I want a physical, the actual NES box.
An actual NES box.
I want the NES box version, definitely.
Yeah. It's on Dreamcast as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a Dreamcast, but I think that NES box is just stunning.
Yeah. It's annoying we couldn't get the PAL Dreamcast ones as well. But is that a real one? Yeah.
Yeah, there we are.
Yeah, that's quality.
Yeah.
I saw Retro Faith had them earlier.
Just
today or it might have been yesterday.
I think it was late yesterday.
Yeah. She put it on Twitter.
It's a really good review of them.
Yeah,
I think she's going to try to get the one out for tapeworm as well.
They are awesome. And Mr. Daubs, Flea, a game that you've also enjoyed.
Yeah, I've played it on my phone. I haven't got an Evercade. I played it on my phone, but it's quite tricky because the buttons don't work. Yeah, the buttons don't work. So I'm just jumping just like that. But yeah, really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. I didn't.
It'd be really hard at certain points in the game because, you need
it
to
was possible.
Dampen your jump and stuff.
Yeah, because the bit where you get to
it's really hard.
Where the tacks are above you, but you can't jump because you're on a block thing. But then the next block there's stuff right above you, and you just can't jump far enough. So yeah, got a bit stuck there.
What was that level 2, isn't it?
level 1. But no, playing it on your phone on I think it was Antstream I played it on.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it's just impossible on your phone. It's
I played the Antstream one on PC. I didn't try it on phone yet. But
it's hard because you're moving it, but you can't press the buttons at the same time because it won't allow you to do it.
Oh, can you not press two buttons at the same time?
No, it wouldn't allow me to do it. I was like, press.
Well, Daubs can't anyway. Normal.
No, I can't. I can't multitask. Men can't multitask, can we? So, but yeah, really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
and I definitely want to get it for the NES at some stage.
Yeah,
that looks so cool.
For me, when I got the Indie Heroes cart, or was given for Christmas, of course. Seeing Flea on the front was definitely the big pull for me. So that was the game that I ended up playing the most on that collection. If I'm honest, it's so addictive, and it is that I don't want to say it's a simple game mechanic, because it's building any game is not simple, but it is that idea of just if the flea keeps jumping, and it's that that sort of almost unnatural thing of stopping him from jumping, and tapping the jump button to stop jumping. It's an interesting game mechanic, but the level designs are fair and fun, and just the whole thing just comes back to just really good addictive gameplay, which a lot of that era of gaming for like the NES was. There's some frustratingly difficult games that also weren't very fair as well. I'm sort of looking up at Ninja Turtles and frantically screaming inside. But there's so many other games as well that are so enjoyable from that era, because they are just designed so well. And I think for me, Flea just does that. It's so much fun, and it's funny as well. It's playing a flea inside a dog.
I like the idea of the network of things, these intelligent fleas that like just put bendy straws around the thing, the beast, so that they could move around. It's just weird. And the little jump mechanic was completely a bug in the first place. I didn't know how to fix it, so I designed some levels around it, and was like, that can stay in. Doesn't bother me. The dash almost didn't make it. I don't know how many you've made it to the dash, but I absolutely love dashes in games. I was like, I need to try and get it, and it almost didn't make it because it wasn't feeling right. And then the coder, Dale Coop, shout out to Dale Coop if he's basically worked on every NES Maker game as far as I can tell. He made the dash feel good, so that was really good. And there's also a bug with the dash that it doesn't work on boss levels. Like the animation plays, but the actual mechanics of the dash don't work the same, because with the scrolling screens, there was a bug that you could end up outside the level as it was panning along. So that's why I did it. You unlock it at like the second last boss, because or the third last boss. Just because there weren't that many bosses after that point.
Excellent. And I think we've sort of touched on it a little bit, but what was the sort of the inspiration for making Flea? What was the sort of the process? Was there something that sort of you sort of thought about which kind of made you sort of go down that route? Or
say the initial idea was back in like 2012, 2013, and it was mobile phone games and stuff. I think Temple Run was out, something like that. I don't think I'd heard of Doodle Jump, which it's very similar to Doodle Jump as well. They always jump it. But it was Temple Run like automated the moving forward and had you move like jumping, whereas I did the opposite way around. I was like, let's have a thing that you're always jumping and you control it by moving. And then if you played Flea Jump on mobile, the new one, it's what that game was supposed to be basically, where you scroll. You scroll the screen like the background behind the character, and he always jumps. So it's a unique control mechanic as well as unique gimmick. But at the time, it was going to be like I think I just played Fez, and I really wanted to make some kind of Metroidvania type thing. So that's where the interconnected like pipes and stuff idea came from as well.
Because it's such a bizarre sort of, I guess, game theme to come out with in the the sort of 2020 era of gaming, but it just works. It's for me, it's actually got, and I mean this is the biggest compliment as well, it's got that sort of quirkiness that Earthworm Jim has about it. It's just something so odd about it that it's immediately cool. So for me, Earthworm Jim, Flea, it's like you could almost have a crossover of those two, because they're just such quirky titles and quirky ideas. And like Ryan says, we're not just saying this because you're here. It's genuinely a game I think that we've all thoroughly enjoyed. It's fantastic.
And they could exist in the same universe, couldn't they? Yeah,
they could. They genuinely could. He could be.
I did think about making a reference, but I didn't.
So when the cover came out, you must have been happy because you're like front of center.
I was so happy. There was one design before that where I was still in the middle, but everybody else complained because it didn't show all the characters around it. So there was a bit of backlash, but I was like, oh, please don't remove me from the middle. No, they didn't. They put it in the middle, and I was like, why did you just put me in the middle? They're like, we just like the art.
Fair play.
It just looked really dynamic. It just fit in the middle.
Looks awesome.
Yeah, he's cool. You could see him in some sort of comic, his own little comic strip, couldn't you? He's just got that sort of attitude about him. It's yeah, totally into that.
I started some like ebooks on Flea as well. I've only did one so far, but it's up on Kindle.
Oh, amazing!
Trying to fill in the backstory a bit more. It's supposed to be like a kids thing about like teaching stuff that kind of doesn't usually get taught, like about politics and tax and stuff. The evil King Flea is going to be like, I was going to do a worksheet one of like he like figuring out fractions for tax percentages. I
can't confirm, Dorbs. It is a lot harder on stream.
Isn't it? I told you. It's
I've literally just been playing it.
Yeah, it's so hard. It's so hard on the phone.
Is there a bit of lag on that stream as well on the phone?
It keeps like, you can see my phone, but
oh, you got that far though. Okay, that's the one that everybody dies on when I take it to events.
Which one's that level? Is that the one I died on?
17, no, you would have died well before then.
No, I got quite far into it.
But no, it is literally like it's so hard because obviously where it lags a bit, you're having to try and time your jumps, but I'm having to time the lags. But
it'll be a good test of Antstream, I think. If I think I made it all the way through on PC, so I was like, it's okay. But that's me knowing the game like inside out.
Yeah.
And that's a really hard thing, isn't it, when you're designing a level? Because to you know exactly how you're supposed to traverse the level, and then you've got to try and make it so that someone else will find it hard. I think one thing I always find funny is if you design a level on something, and then you've got an idea in your mind of what you're supposed to do, and then you watch someone else play it, and they do something completely different that you hadn't even thought of. It's like, why have you gone over there? Or maybe that actually you found a completely different way of passing through this level that I didn't even think of. So that's always an interesting
type stuff. And it was good, like because I took it to a bunch of events as I was developing it as well, like before COVID that was. But it's watching people play and being like, cool, I'll do it. I'll change it so that happens, or so you can't do that, or it's been really, really, really good.
Yeah. Did you find that process was something that you actually was almost invaluable as well, having people, I guess, like test run the game at conventions and that kind of thing, just sort of gauging how people saw it, and did that then influence the end product that we've all come to play?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, see, I think it was someone that it was one of my mates at one of the events found the small jump bug. I was like, oh crap, I'll try to fix that, and then didn't. So it's one of the things that you don't try it if you didn't. I didn't add it as a thing, so he found it and then became a feature. Just cool.
Excellent. A bit of a happy accident.
Yeah. A lot of happy accidents.
Love it. Love a happy accident. They're the best.
That's always good, isn't it, when a bug then actually becomes a feature of the game.
And it's weird because like other games that have like in always jumping mechanics don't have this, and it feels wrong to me now to not have the button to like dampen it. And then we tried to like remake this in Unity, and it was an absolute nightmare to get it feeling the same way, like to have the same quirks, because you not only like does it just dampen it, you can kind of cancel it as it's on its way up as well. It's a weird mechanic to reproduce in a new engine.
Awesome. Excellent. So segueing us nicely onto our next topic, which is with a question. Oh no. Ryan's removed the likes. The next topic I can see.
What was the next topic? What did I remove?
It was our next topic was going to be Indie Heroes 2 with a question mark, and asking if there's been any sort of discussion. There he is. Has there been any discussions around an Indie Heroes 2 collection for the Evercade, or anything that you're allowed to talk about? If there is any conversations,
we've been talking about it, but it's still a bit loose, I think. I think they're interested. I think they want tapeworm, but nothing confirmed yet. But they seem interested.
As long as he's on the middle of the front of the box,
I was like that. I was like, I'll need to draw one that's really dynamic in that for the middle of the box.
Yeah.
Can't you?
Because he's really hard to like get a good angle of because he can be
all the way around it.
Yeah,
Be all the way around
that'd
the
be really
outside.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely
I mean,
think that what you said earlier, like the Indie Heroes kind of stuff is ideal for Evercade. So the most fun I have on the Evercade is playing a game that I haven't played before. So if there's like an old game that I never played and I'm just discovering it for the first time, that's great. But with Indie Heroes, all of them are games I've not played before. So, and like the Mega Cat Studios ones and things like that as well. So definitely think it's the way they should go with it, I think.
definitely.
I was just laughing then, Tim, because you never played Sensible Soccer before till I played you. And
I have
you
played it before. I have played it before, just not as much as you, clearly.
I hadn't.
Crashed.
I absolutely
Terrible.
had not. I had not played Sensible Soccer until we played it at yours, Ryan. That was my baptism of Sensible Soccer.
I spent many hours playing.
He's got a VS as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you given Homebrew War a go on that?
No, I haven't.
It's a 4-player. I think that's the way it's properly supposed to be played. The AI is a bit weird in that game. I logged a bug in it where if you watch the AI pick up a power up, that's not guaranteed to be the power up that they were going to use. So you could see them get like the punch bug thing, and then they would shoot a fireball at you next. And, so yeah, it's a bit annoying. But in actual multiplayer, it's pretty cool. And Flea is in it. Like that game was modified to have characters from Indie Heroes in it.
Cool.
Oh,
Really
cool.
cool, because it's got like Doodle and a whole bunch of other, like the guy from Ployd and some other stuff, Kubo as well.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Excellent. So there is a possibility of an Indie Heroes 2. It's just sort of not gone out of the realms of just sort of being discussed at the moment to see where it goes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully, we'll see.
I think
And then
most
hope
people
can be happy. Yeah.
I think most people that own an Evercade, and even some people in the chat as well, they'll be in an agreement that an Indie Heroes 2 would definitely be something that people would be throwing money at when it. We'll say when it arrives. We'll do glasses half full.
Yeah.
So when that arrives, I think that would be a day one purchase for a lot of people. So okay,
I want to know what other games they think of it.
yeah, So we'll do a watch this space then. Okay, so now I am going to be clicking on the right topic now because it's there. So our next topic for you is something that it's a new segment that we've been asking guests that have come on since we had Rick Waller on, and that is a Waller's remasters. So
it's from Rick Waller. I thought it was
it is
from Wallmasters.
No, it's
I've got a picture up there that's got a link with a Wallmaster behind them, and that's kind of my handle online.
Yeah, we had when Rick Waller joined us, we asked him what 3 games he would remaster, remake, or reboot in order for a new generation, and his answers were just not things that I think. One of the games I don't think any of us had even heard of, so we just decided this is a cracking thing, and we just.
So I'm glad I didn't go for obvious ones then.
So we've taken this forward. So. Mr. Al, over to you. Your picks for your Waller's remasters.
There's a couple. I need to decide the last one. Okay, number 1. This was definitely one. PlayStation Silicon Valley.
Yeah, PlayStation Silicon Valley. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember playing this so much as a kid. Found it at the car boot cheap. I think it was this copy as well. The cash converter sticker still half scraped off. I remember seeing it and being like, oh, that's annoying. I'll take it off when I get home. Never did. Been on there for
They're really hard to get off them stickers.
15 years. Yeah. To get some pledge on it.
I remember the concept of the game because I had it as well. But
you were a little microchip that came out of some spaceship thing, and you could jump between different robotic animals. I thought it was really cool, and I don't know, just like an update to the art style and stuff, and just the concept's just really, really cool on that one.
Yeah.
And again, it was made in DMA, so like I now know people that worked on it, which is really, really cool.
That's good fun.
That's amazing.
Awesome.
We'll do an obscure one. But yeah, to see it like proper remastered or rebooted more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you go with
remaster.
What have we got here?
With Alan Sugar.
Oh.
Yeah, the Apprentice on CDI. I think it's the best game on the CDI. It's kind of like Micro Mages. It's a always climb upwards like platformer thing. And the art style is just really nice. But to see it in 3D or whatever, like as a kind of pseudo 3D, 2.5D would be really cool.
Yep.
And again, just not many people play with it. But I don't know if you know about this. It had some secrets in it that didn't get released. Well, uncovered until like years and years later, where there was like cheat codes you could put in when you died, and they made nudalities. So, he would come along, he would wave his wand, and then it would change like a little bunny rabbit or something into like a naked lady, and it made it past all the whatever stuff at the time. I don't think it was before PEGI ratings and whatever. So before you had to declare all that stuff.
You'll make Leisure Suit Larry make that.
There's all sorts. Sorry, go on, Ryan.
I was going to say he's called El Lowe as well, isn't he?
Oh, Lowe as well,
yeah.
He is, yeah, with an E.
We've had him on as well.
Yeah, someone posted on Twitter the other day that they'd just got one of the Al Lowe's games and Tapeworm, and I was like, you probably don't know this, but they're both made by Al Lowe.
Fun fact. But yeah, there's all these rumours for games just before you dive onto your last pick. But I always remember there being rumours about characters. There was all these like naked cheats to try and do things. There was always a rumour that with Tomb Raider, if you're in the pantry or wherever it is, and you have to do a jump or something and time it right, and then she jumps and all her clothes came off. The amount of hours that me and my mate must have tried doing that for when we, 12-year-old boys like, there's a naked cheat, and you just it clearly wasn't a thing. But
dirty
or in Metroid, if you complete it in under 5 minutes, you
apparently Samus's suit came off. It's like it's definitely a product of that era for sure.
Or Metal Gear Solid, if you get quick enough to Meryl, you can see her doing press-ups in her underwear.
For some reason, that doesn't show.
There's lots of that stuff in Metal Gear Solid, doesn't there?
But it's true. I think when you're going for the vents, when she's in the cell.
I can remember that one because what you had to do is go into the vents and you look down the vent and she's doing sit-ups in her bed. If you're supposed to just carry on, but if you leave the vent and then go back in again, I think you have to leave the vent and go back in like 3 times, and then she sat with like her trousers.
She's just in her underwear.
It's all just like with polygons, isn't it? It's like it's nothing. It's just
funny how you remember that one, Triangle Face.
Yeah, you remember it quite well.
I just like the game. What can I say?
It's we'll forget. We're going on to one of our tangents now. We will come to that final pick, but it doesn't shock me that any of that stuff is in Metal Gear, because even when they were doing all the trailers for Metal Gear 5, I was getting really excited for this, like the big final Metal Gear game's coming, and then it showed you the character of Quiet, and you're like, oh come on, really? We're still in that sort of era where the girl's basically just naked and she's called Quiet. Like, oh, come on. It turned out she was badass, which is pretty cool, but yeah, very strange. Always in a Metal Gear game.
It's probably done for an artistic reason, though.
Yeah,
it's not,
you're
looking at it the wrong way.
There's probably the bit that was worse actually in Metal Gear, because it wasn't an Easter egg. This was part of the game. There's one point where Meryl's dressed up like one of the guards, and you had to figure out which one of the guards was Meryl by looking at their bum. You'd have to go into first-person view mode, because Meryl would walk with a bit of a wiggle. And she had like a feminine walk to her, so you could tell. Like, you have to go round.
I can't picture it. Can you show us?
I mean, I'm not going to demonstrate. You can Google it, can't you? But yeah, I thought that was probably worse. You have to, go around looking at the guards' bums and see which one looks like a woman. And then you have to I think you're supposed to grab her and take her into the toilets, and then she wakes up or something.
What?
That really doesn't shock me.
That is not a cheat or anything. That is just part of the game. You're supposed to do that, and then she takes her mask off, and you realise it's her and stuff.
Let's get Ali's final. Let's get his final choice.
Metal Gear Solid
quickly.
That could be its own topic.
Right, I'm going to eeny meeny here. What do you think? PS1 or PS2?
PS1. Yeah, let's go PS1.
PS1. Okay. Jade Cocoon.
Oh, yeah.
I
Never played it.
have not played that.
I've only
Yeah,
played
no,
a demo
no,
of
no.
it, but I did like it.
It's kind of like Pokemon.
Yeah, kind of Pokemon-y, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it was this one. There was Jade Cocoon 2 as well, but you merge the creatures together. So yeah, you like build up other stats and then find another random one and then you merge them all. And yeah, you save scum to hell in this because you're like, it turned out to be the rubbish merge again. I'll reload my save and do it again. So it was really good. But I would like a remaster because the story and stuff is quite good. But again, it started off with lots of like voiced cutscenes and then it went to text. So I really enjoyed the beginning of this game, but then yeah, it got a bit annoying by the end. And then
Amazing.
Just a quick one. There's the
Yeah.
wood of
Yeah.
Bonus. I've not played that either.
gone. Maximo. It was really
Yeah.
big back in the PS2 days, wasn't it?
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I only found it recently. It's kind of like a spiritual successor to Ghouls and Goblins because it's
Yeah.
Capcom, and like I played it just before the stream, and I'm like, yeah, even the music's the same, and like it's just like a 3D imagining of Ghouls and Ghosts. So that's already kind of a remake of a previous franchise. So.
Is it more forgiving?
Yes, you get a couple more hits, I think.
Excellent. That I'm all into because as much as I love Ghouls and Ghosts, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, and the various Ghosts and Goblins and all the variants that there are of it, I love the art style. I love the look of those games. I love the music, but Christ on a bike, is it frustrating as hell.
Have you played Prinny? I Want to Be the Hero. The Disgaea spin-offs, like they're really similar to the Ghouls and Goblins games, but I like them so much better. They're much more forgiving, and they're a bit, they're newer. So just forgiving in that way that they don't absolutely kill you. Yeah, I think you start off with 1,000 lives or something like that.
Right. Yeah, I'm into that. That sounds like a good start number.
There's a game I played not long ago that was on, I think it was like a Games with Gold one called Volga the Viking. And that was kind of like a Ghouls and Ghosts-esque kind of game. And it was really, really tough to beat. But you'd kind of had to learn where everything is because everything would always be in the exact same place. So if you learn how to get through one section, you would do the exact same thing every time. So eventually you could get through level 1 without dying quite successfully over and again. That was really good. Sort of modern retro game, actually. Volga the Viking.
Take a look at that. That came out on Dreamcast as well, I think. I think there was a Dreamcast release of that.
Just while we're talking of releases, I know there was a comment earlier on. I can't remember who'd said it, but there was definitely a comment earlier on in the chat. Somebody asking if Flea was coming to Switch. Just while we're talking about games on other systems, is there any? Oh, there we go. Is there any chatter of Flea coming to Switch at all? Because I know that's definitely a system that there is. Ooh, is it on there or is it coming?
It's not there yet. No.
Okay.
There's a couple versions of it in the works. I was making, say, a HD version of it, and I got so far in it, and then was like, I could maybe just make this as a new game rather than just upscaling the old one. So we're looking at the other stuff as well. But
excellent.
At some point.
How exciting! Excellent. Okay, so moving us on to our last segment of the day is our game show, which we have semi-bad track record at actually successfully completing as a panel, and this is Daub's game of What's in the Box, and I think we're going to roll the intro.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box?
Excellent. Seamless, Tim. Seamless.
Before we do, when you were talking about, when Ollie was talking about being a dirty, sexist pervert, we actually had this little message pop up.
It's still, isn't it?
Which is a bit awkward. Oh, yeah. She's obviously watching, and you're talking about your dirty You've been a dirty pervert.
Tomb
So,
Raider game.
she's like,
Tomb
no, I'm
Raider
still
time.
here.
to be
That did make me chuckle.
sorry, that's my daughter there. Yeah, she's she's a good
Tomb
crack.
Raider
But
time.
to be totally honest, I keep getting thrown under the bus at Christmas now. Anyway, all the stories of my youth are slowly coming to light, and it's like,
So,
it's,
yes, Aaron, your father is a dirty pervert.
for fuck's sake.
Look.
Anyway, what's in
Yeah.
the box?
So, hang on, let me just.
We'll let
So
Dawn run
let
through.
me move you and
Oh, yeah,
do
Ryan's
the...
OCD.
There we go. Oh,
You might
Flunners,
have
you are the
Flunners
Flea.
is the Flea. Flunners is the Flea.
Can we do that?
Oh, you need to change that to the. Ollie needs to be the.
There's no other way of doing it.
Normally
Blunners,
I'm
you
the
will be the
duck.
Flea.
So I can
Yeah.
be
You
the
can always
Flea.
turn.
Don't
You can
mind.
turn the flea off, can't you? If you
The
need
Flea's the new duck.
Yeah, Flea's the new duck.
No, here we go. The duck is coming. There we go. I am the
Here we
duck. Always the
duck
duck.
and a flea. Yeah. So, obviously you've seen this before, Al. I'll imagine. Yes, hopefully. So in this box, I've got a retro gaming item. So it could be a console, game, magazine, structure manual, blah 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 blah. The panel, I've got 20 questions to guess it, and I can just say yes or no. And there's going to be no cheating from the panel this week. So
Disgraceful.
they've been Googling it the last few times, which is absolutely disgraceful.
To be fair, the games inside have meant that I think Googling has almost
I
become
think
a
we should be
necessity.
allowed. Once we narrow it down to
Who-
like I don't know something, we need some form of.
Well, who
Research,
said
is
it's a game? So right,
You know,
Oliver?
we've had Sven Goran Eriksson Football Manager. You
Yeah,
know,
we're never
that's
going to
the-
get that without googling stuff. are we?
Best management game. Best management
As long as you don't
game
have to
out
spell
there.
it, I'm fine.
Best management game out there. So yeah, 20 questions. Do it in order. So Oliver, shoot.
Well, it kind of feels like the right question to always start with. Is it a game?
Okay.
Yes.
The game. Okay.
My pen's not working.
I'm going to go for a bit of a more direct question in the hopes I get it right. Is it a NES game?
Not the one I have. No.
This is something else that Dorbs is good at. Is he likes throwing you a little tidbit like that, making you think it could be on the NES, and then it turns out to be
I
a
don't know,
PS2
it might be.
exclusive.
Is it
It might be.
is it a cartridge-based game?
No.
Was it released before 2000?
Yes.
So we're thinking like PS1 or Dream. No, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a question?
No.
Oh, and this is exactly
No, we're comparing. We're not allowed to compare. Is that-
Yeah.
yeah. Panel
Right,
confer.
so hang on. We know it's not cartridge. So is it CD/DVD type game?
No.
It's going to be Amiga, isn't it? He's got a big
Yeah.
Amiga collection.
He loves his Amiga, doesn't
Is it?
I love my Amiga.
Is it a floppy disk based game?
No.
It's going to be a
Is
fucking
it
cassette, isn't it?
Is it a cassette-based game?
Yes.
Oh, so we've wasted like 10 questions to get to.
he?
7.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Cassette.
You wasted 7.
So it's going to be Commodore 64, isn't it?
Possibly.
Is it a
Yeah,
sport?
C64
Is it a
games, huh?
sports game?
No.
Is it one of the Oliver games?
No.
I think that's eliminated everything I know on the Commodore now.
Yeah. We haven't actually asked if it's on the Commodore yet.
You haven't asked if it's on the Commodore
No,
yet,
we haven't asked that yet.
Is it on the Commodore?
What Commodore? Can you be more specific?
You said it was
Ah,
Shit. What was the one you had earlier?
An Acorn or a-
64.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. Is it a platformer?
Not according to Wikipedia.
Okay.
So
Is
no.
it then a run and gun game?
Yes, Tim. Well done.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it
Narrow genre.
based on a movie franchise?
Yes.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Here we go.
James,
Ooh.
How many questions
Okay.
have we got left?
I think we've got
James
7.
Bond.
No, that wasn't a question.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on, Tim. Tim, I can see Tim googling. I can
I'm
see his
doing
head
no. I'm doing
moving
a
up and down.
notepad. I've got a Microsoft notepad.
Yeah, I'm taking
see-
notes.
Check his glasses.
Yeah,
There
I
you
can
go.
see.
I've just
I
got.
can
Can't
see him.
see me.
It says notepad. I've just been writing down the questions we've asked, just so we don't.
I think you should
So it's
share
a
your
run and gun
screen.
game on
You
the
can share my screen.
C64,
You
yeah?
should share your
Nothing
screens
to
on.
hide.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's a movie tie-in.
Yes.
Yeah. It's got to be James Bondy in it. Then yeah, what did the other do?
Is
I
a
think that's
question. There's a Crazy Burgers. Had a good guess.
two, I'm thinking. But
He's put what? The
Okay.
Untouchable.
Oh,
I was thinking Terminator.
I don't know. Very good guess. No.
No.
Good guess though. See,
We've
Crazy,
just got-
Crazy Burgers on Crazy Burgers
Yeah, he is.
on Google. by the
Yeah,
looks of
we're
it as
not
well.
we're not going to fall for that again.
And looks like
007? Is it
retro-
007 game?
RoboCop, yeah.
Is
Is
it
it
what? Sorry?
007 game? 007 game?
No.
Shit.
Got
How
five.
many are we on left? We've got 5 left.
5 left.
5 left. Yeah.
Mate.
Are we allowed to confer? Is that
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
absolutely
We got-
can. Yes.
okay? And we can see what other ones, what other run and gun.
So it's a run and
run and
gun
gun.
Commodore 64 game.
Ghostbusters, is that
Maybe.
a run and gun game?
I don't think it was.
Don't know.
Is that a question?
No, we're conferring at the moment.
What else?
That's why we need the
Aliens? Did that
notepad.
have a Alien? Did that have a thing? Or
Alien, yeah. Is that
Yeah.
what else? RoboCop and
Robocop?
I don't think Robocop would be a run game, would it? He'd be very much a sort of
yeah, Walking
methodical plod.
I think if it's
Plodding
walking,
game.
the game genre would still be considered run and gun. Even if it's walking, a walking gun.
Yeah, that's like
walking gun.
bloody
I know what it
plod and gun.
is. Is it Puck Puck? No, not really. I'm joking.
That's not a question.
Shit.
I don't know.
5 left.
I don't know
Yeah.
many Commodore 64 games. If anybody wants to, in the final 5 questions, start throwing some.
So what you got there? Look, Crazy
Yeah.
Burger, Total Recall.
Why don't we go with what
Okay.
Crazy
Right,
Burgers?
I don't know if these are games. I
Die
don't know.
Hard's
Is
a good
there a
one.
total?
Total Recall's later though, isn't it? I thought that
Was
was.
there a
Die
Total
Hard's a
Recall
good one,
game?
isn't it?
I was thinking
Is there-
something with Arnie in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Has it got
Sure.
Arnie in it? We'll go with that question.
Who?
Arnold
Arnie
Schwarzenegger.
Schwarzenegger.
Okay, that-
So that eliminates Total Recall.
And most
You're going to
80s
ask if it's got
action
Bruce
movies.
Willis in it. Has it got Bruce Willis in it?
it was,
Actually, yeah, there's 2 Bruce Willis ones. Why don't you ask if it's got Bruce Willis in it? Oh dear.
Hang on, he might be throwing you off here, guys. It might be a Bruce Willis one.
yeah, maybe.
Could be.
I mean, there must have been a Die Hard game on the sea, but it wouldn't have been a run and gun, would it? Because it's Die Hard. I'm just trying to think of like the gameplay versus like the type of
pretty
movie that it
sure
would be.
Just looking in
We've had, like,
Ryan's
an Alien one
glasses,
before.
and there's a reflection.
Yeah, I
of
was going to
Dooku.
say Alien 3, I think, might be a Commodore 64 game.
So we might have to find out if it's in the Alien
Mhm.
franchise.
Is the game in the Alien franchise?
Bugger.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay,
excuse
sorry,
me.
we've narrowed down some pretty big.
Okay, is Bruce Willis in the film? Okay,
You
so that
Oh,
eliminates.
yeah. Got
Pretty
2
much
left.
We've only got 2 left. We're not going to do it. I think it was based on a movie franchise, Run and Gun, but it's not Alien, anything
So-
else starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it's not like
You think-
not Bond.
It's got to be 80s, isn't it?
Got to be. Unless
Did
it is
someone
Ro-
ask if
it
it
is
was
Robocop.
James Bond?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah. Top Gun's not run and gun, is it? It's like flying around.
no.
Oh,
Is
come
it-
on, anyone in the chat?
Yeah, I wonder if
Is
anyone
it-
in the chat's got it. He's just being smug.
So we got 2 left.
Oh my god. Is it? Is it a? Oh no. I'm trying to word it in a way to try and.
We've only got 2 left, so I don't know if there's any way of narrowing it down even further.
Okay.
Want to ask them about like what did the movie franchises based off make a certain amount of money or something? I don't know if we could get. Is it going to be something obscure?
I'll have to Google it.
I guess
it's obscure, is what I mean.
What about if the film? This isn't a question. I'm conferring. Is it the film a part of a series of films? And then
what else? Rambo with that.
Yeah, that's a part.
Yeah.
I mean, no.
Someone said Lethal Weapon as well. So if we ask if it's a series within a series, then we can just take a punt on one of those, can't we?
Yeah, I think that would narrow it down a little bit, won't it? If it's part
So is it?
But actually, was your question? Is it based on a movie franchise? I don't think you said it's based on a movie. You said a movie franchise, and the answer was yes.
No, don't confuse things, Tim.
yeah, but I think that would it's got more than one.
Oh yeah,
that would be that would
you've
be
already said
lying
that.
To us. That would be Daub's cheating if we said a franchise.
I genuinely heard movie.
Well, I've got my questions here, and I wrote down movie franchise.
Well, let's. Want me to wind it back?
So we just go with what's here with Rob, and if that doesn't,
go with Rob and
because we don't know.
Yeah. Rob's not a terrible get. I'm sure it's gonna be weird.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a real quirky title. I've got a feeling it's not gonna be as obvious as this.
Is it Rambo?
No.
Right, one left.
That means it's down to the older.
I'll tell you what. There is one movie, and I only know that this this had a game as well, only because I have a bad movie night that I watch with mates, and we're going through a bit of a theme of watching bad movies that have got wrestlers in them.
There's some Hulk Hogan thing.
Yeah.
What was that?
Oh, is it like Mr. Nanny, the game?
Three men and a baby.
Suburban Commando.
No
I seem
Holds
to
Barred?
remember
Commando.
on the VHS.
Mr. Nanny, is it Mr. Nanny?
Mr. Nanny,
yeah.
someone's putting
Love
it.
that film.
Mr. Nanny's great.
So I know there was a Suburban Commando one because there was an advert for it on the VHS.
Very good guess. Very good guess.
In fact, Three Men and a Baby was directed by Leonard Nimoy. There you go.
It was, yeah.
Go on, Ollie, because we don't know, do
Worth
we?
a punt, isn't it?
Is it Suburban Commando?
No.
You've only gone and got it. Oh.
No.
I was gonna guess. This isn't part of it now. I was gonna guess The Great Escape. That was going to be.
No, it's not that one.
No, right.
No.
To be fair, that era has got quite a few. If we'd sort of had a few more few more questions, we could have had some punts on some of those movie titles. But...
Well, yeah, you've failed again. Unfortunately.
Yeah, we're not allowed to Google it now.
Come off it! Surely we can Google that.
I mean, you've been looking at the answer for. You've been looking at the answer for 7 minutes.
That's Commando. RoboCop, you kidding me?
That's not
Is
run
it?
and gun.
Yeah, there you go.
I did think that.
Is the very.
We even talked about it. We even talked about RoboCop.
That is the very
been there for 7 minutes.
It's the very definition of a not a run and gun game. I would.
Shouldn't it be like plod, wouldn't it?
On to Wikipedia, it's a run and gun. So there it is.
And
the good thing with this, good thing with this, you get instructions, but the instructions
No way.
turn into a poster.
Oh, very nice.
Oh, look at
So,
that.
So even with the answer on the screen, you still can't get it.
I think we should
We're
be
so close.
allowed to Google stuff.
Where's the fun in that? I mean, come on, RoboCop's one of the most famous films of all
Yeah,
time.
we did. We were
We're
in
so
the right
close.
area.
We said all
weren't
the other ones. We just.
Yeah, we discussed RoboCop. We didn't actually go for it, did we?
Okay,
Yeah,
someone
very bored.
define me running. Can someone just tell me what running actually is? Moving fast?
Well, I'm on the
Yeah, but if
official.
the genre of game, I think run and gun would include.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moving
You
fast.
need to actually run in order for that to
Oh,
work.
there we go.
Even in this one, he jumps as well, from memory.
That is not running. That's just.
I'm on Wikipedia, and it describes it as a run and gun.
Yeah,
And
it's
a beat 'em up.
it is.
On this. It is. I think the genre is called run and gun, isn't it? Even if
So
you
what?
look
All
at-
right. Well, next time then, why don't you ask?
I think
if it's
he's
a walk-
right.
Well,
walking gun?
technically, according to Wikipedia, Dorbs, it's a beat 'em up run and gun.
It is, yeah. But it's got a
I
comma.
don't give him
I
that.
would
He's
say
going
it's
to use that
not.
against us in future.
No, it's got a comma in between. So, but yeah, unlucky lads. It's very good. You only had 7 minutes for the correct answer. On
I
the
still
screen.
think we should have been allowed to do web searches to narrow it down, especially if we're going to have like Commodore 64. Never had a Commodore 64.
Yeah, but I
don't
mean,
know
it's
the
come on,
game.
it's RoboCop. You know, you're going to know it. As soon as you said
I
film
mean,
after
we did know
9 questions or
I
whatever, I
did
was
no
like, yeah,
Googling.
they're going to get this.
Unbelievable. Yeah, but it's that
Have you done it
definition of
before,
run and
or-
gun, mate.
Yeah.
We've won a couple of
That's
times,
what
but
Wikipedia
this
says.
is
Well, that was a
yeah.
bit that put us off, wasn't it? We're like, oh, it's a walk. But
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah, it did, didn't it? Put ourselves off.
Oh
there.
well, it was close. We got close today at least.
Almost.
So yeah,
Shocking
there you go.
behaviour. There we are. And on that
Fantastic.
bombshell, it was another not win for us for what's in the box. But we've reached the end of our evening, Mr. Owl. We have taken up almost 2 hours of your time, which we are eternally grateful for you spending with us on this wonderful Tuesday evening.
it's been good fun.
Is there any websites or web links, anything you would like to promote, or anything you'd like to tell people to direct people at the moment for anything you've got coming up, or anything you want people to go and look at?
Yep. Lowtek.games or lowtek.co.uk for all the website stuff, or was it Wallmaster on Twitter? You can buy the games. You can buy. I've been hiding it the whole time. We got some T-shirts and stuff.
Oh yes, look at that.
Right.
So cool.
We've got one that's like a NES, the black box cart with Flea and stuff on it. A whole bunch up there.
Nice.
And all the physical things. Yeah, keep an eye out on the Twitter. That's where we post most of the stuff.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Well,
yeah.
thank you so much for joining us. This has been one that we've been really looking forward to. We're always astonished when people, like we said earlier, agree to even come and talk to us. But getting to speak to you this evening about your sort of gaming journey and how the games have been made and how Flea's been made and just everything, it's been something that we've all been really looking forward to this week. So we do really appreciate you coming on and talking to us like this. Yes, do keep in touch with us. We'd love to hear about the development of that software that you're looking to work with. That sounds like an absolutely incredible idea. And yes, we'll all be eager to hear about anything that comes up, potentially Indie Hero 2 related. And yeah, it's just been a real pleasure. So I think on behalf of the panel, just yes, thank you ever so much for giving us your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Can I do a shameless plug for tomorrow? Because I'll be back at 8 on the channel to do some gaming. So I'll be playing on my arcade.
Look at that, Seren's already on it, mate.
Are you
there
going
we
to
go.
play? You're going to play RoboCop? Hopefully.
No, Puck.
It's on there. Oh, it might be on there. You never know.
I might be up the C64 after this and see if
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that's going to be on that little
Walk and gun.
console we've bought, Ryan. I'm hoping there's going to be some good
Oh yeah.
good games on that.
Can I also do a shameless plug? Myself and Blunners are going to be on It's Much More's Evercade stream on Thursday at 8 p.m. So that you will see us both on there. Probably wear matching T-shirts again.
Matching T-shirts.
Nice. You go 3 nights in a
You're gonna
row.
wash 'em.
RGR goodness.
You're going to wash it.
Exactly. What more do you need?
Excellent. Well, thank you everyone who's been watching. Thank you everyone for keeping up in the chat. It's really nice to see lots of people interacting with the chat again. So yes, thank you everyone for watching, and thank you again, Al, for joining us. Tim tomorrow, and then It's Much More Thursday. What more do you want? What a great week that's going to be. So from us, thank you very much, and we will see you all next time. So good night, everybody.
Robbie Slater. See you later.
Robbie Slater.